If you are a believer in Darwinian evolution, I am going to change your mind. I am going to prove to you that Darwin's mechanism does not work for its intended goal, and that there is empirical, scientific evidence that destroys the theory. When I'm done with this series, your mind will no longer be imprisoned by the evolution Kool-Aid. You will even question the integrity and competency of the people still advancing Darwin's theory today. One of the most astonishing discoveries of our time is the existence of complex, integrated systems and nano-machines within living cells. English naturalist Charles Darwin, famous for popularizing the theory of evolution, had a very simple idea. He noticed that the Galapagos finches had an adaptive trait that aided in their survival. The size and shape of their beaks changed based on the available food supply. So random variations in natural selection are real and do real things in nature. Nobody is disputing this. This is a proven fact. But Darwin imagined this mechanism could do much more and create complex, integrated systems in biology over time, and even possibly explain the origin and diversification of all life on Earth. Today, abiogenesis has been separated from the theory of evolution, since there is no working theory for the origin of life on Earth. But we'll still discuss that in more detail in another segment. But let's consider for a moment what the Darwinists today are really saying. They believe that dead chemicals came to life all by themselves and bacteria slowly turned into human beings. They imagine that this simple mechanism of random variation and natural selection can create complex, integrated systems and even human consciousness. But this mechanism has never been demonstrated to be able to produce complex, integrated systems of biological-like complexity, not in a laboratory and not even in a computer simulation. The mechanism does not even logically work for that purpose. Complex integrated systems require forethought, and just bumbling along with random mutation and natural selection could not even possibly accomplish this task. No matter what you do, you'll get dead-ended using Darwin's mechanism. More on that in another segment. Right now, let's discuss the empirical problem of the fossil record. It's worse than you imagine. Remember this lesson because it completely destroys evolution using observable science. If you read any biology textbook, they will tell you that 99.9% of all life on Earth is now extinct. Some books will carry that decimal place out to 99.99% of all life on Earth is now extinct. But they don't say this because they found that many fossils, but it is based on mathematical models of extinction and projections of how many transitional life forms must have existed if Darwinian evolution were true. Basically, all the animals we know about and that have been found in the fossil record are a tiny fraction of what must have existed. 0.1% or less are detectable. So is there any way we can test the fossil record to see how complete it is? Well, there is. We can check the fossil record against animals we know exist and are still alive today. What percentage of known animals appear in the fossil record? It turns out that an astonishingly high percentage of known animals appear in the fossil record. Birds, for example, are a more rare fossil since birds can just fly away from a mudslide or other disaster. But 60% of known bird species have been found as fossils. Mammals come in at a whopping 90+% of all known mammals having been found in the fossil record, which is great since we are mammals. What does this mean? It means all those transitional life forms could not possibly have ever existed unless we think the fossil record is trying to trick us by selecting only animals we know about. If the animal is still with us today, it is likely we have a fossil example of them dating back to their origin. And we have animals from every epoch, such as jellyfish, sponges, and crocodilians. The only difference in the animals is not their complexity, but their size. They are the same animals. Not only do we find these animals in the fossil record, but we mostly find those fossils in the layers corresponding to the epoch of their origin in Darwinian terms. Now, I'm an old Earth creationist, but this is very telling. Something is seriously wrong with the theory. Why would the fossil record care when to preserve these animals if they've been around all these millions of years? It makes no sense at all in Darwinian terms. Now, there have been ideas proposed to explain this empirical problem, such as punctuated equilibrium. This is the idea that Darwinian evolution doesn't occur slowly and gradually, but suddenly during times of disaster and stress on Earth, thus hiding all the fossil evidence. This really makes me chuckle. Not only does that idea completely contradict the theory and defeat its mechanism, it's the same as believing that fairies dance in the woods at night, but only when nobody is looking. Evolution happens, but only when the fossil record is not looking. So just the fact that they propose this idea to try to explain this huge, massive, unexplainable, empirical gap in the theory should give you true believers in the cult of Darwin a moment for pause. All is not well in the Darwinian world, and I'll bet that you have never been told this problem before. The obvious conclusion isn't that the fossil record is hiding the evidence, but that Darwinian theory has no legs. It's not even a scientific theory in any reasonable way. You can't have a scientific theory that completely ignores empirical scientific observations that contradict it. So now you have one empirical, testable, and scientific way to know with absolute certainty that Darwin's theory is completely out to lunch. I'll be discussing more serious problems with the theory in future segments, and you'll no longer be part of the phase-locking, groupthink mentality that is so pervasive in the scientific community today. It is so important that people learn to think independently and not just regurgitate what you've been told and what you've been shown. You've been shown a very small slice of the evidence, the stuff that they like. And that's just brainwashing. And that's not the way to advance knowledge in this world. If we're just going to sit back and just pretend that these problems don't exist, and we just like the theory because it just gives us an alternative to theism, there are other ways to get around theism besides imagining that bacteria turns into people. It's not even a coherent theory, and we'll be getting into more of that in the future segments. Thanks for watching.